Welcome to the 21 Lines of Inquiry podcast that's all about helping you discover your UCW, your unique contribution to the world. Join us as we delve into the 21 questions that will help you be more intentional about bringing your gifts into your career and your life overall. So when you're ready, let's get started. Hi, it's Anita, and in this episode we're going to look at the question, what would you do if you had a magic wand? Now, before the words, but I don't, Anita, even form on your lips, let me stop you. It's true, you don't have an actual magic wand, but you do have in your possession something even more useful in terms of helping you create your UCW. It's one of the greatest untapped powers we all possess. It's been available to all human beings for at least the last 40,000 years, as far as we know, and it's called the imagination. This is the power that humans have to see things that don't exist in reality. Now, we know it's been around for 40,000 years because of a famous ivory statue called Lion Man, which was discovered just before the Second World War in a cave in Germany. And I've put a link in the notes so you can have a look. But just as the name says, it's the body of a man with the head of a lion. But what makes it so special is that it's the oldest known representation of a being that does not exist in physical form, which means it could only have been created using the power of imagination. Now, in our modern rational world, people often dismiss using the imagination as making things up or not dealing with reality. But what is reality? We know from neurology that we don't experience the world or outer reality as it is objectively, but as we perceive it through our senses and perceptions. Now, that doesn't mean the world isn't there. Of course it is. But our power as humans to construct the reality we live in is greater than we may sometimes realise. So, every great person has used the faculty of imagination and harnessed its power to accomplish things, whether in science, technology, the arts, business. It's through your imagination that you can see a future that does not currently exist. And then with that picture in your mind, you can start to take steps towards making it a reality. This is how all meaningful progress happens, first in the mind and then in physical reality. So your imagination, if you use it well, can give you the space to envision new opportunities, fire your creativity, and enrich your relationships in a way that's meaningful to you. And because it's your imagination, it's your own original expression arising inside you of what you want to create in the world. How exciting is that? And it's relevant for discovering your UCW because you can use your imagination as a tool to help you visualize what else needs to be present in your life for you to feel you're aligning with your UCW. So there are two different ways of using your imagination to answer this question. The first one is your voluntary imagination. So this is where you actively try to answer the question, what would you do if you had a magic wand, using your imagination? And as imagination works differently in each person, figure out what works best for you. So I find the best way for me is to use a creative process, such as writing the question down in a notebook and then just writing my answer as a stream of consciousness and see what comes up. But sometimes I'll also close my eyes and ask the question and then do some deep breathing and just see what comes up in my mind in terms of pictures or images. So you can try different things and see what works best for you. There's no right or wrong here. Think of your imagination like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you'll strengthen your creative abilities and be able to use it as a great tool for visioning and re-envisioning your career in the context of your life priorities overall. Then the other kind of imagination is what we call involuntary imagination. So this just happens in daydreams or dreams or some kind of spontaneous insight. And this is equally valuable. So pay attention to these too. So some ways to harness this. I sometimes ask myself a question before I go to sleep and then notice or pay attention to what comes up in my dreams that night. But I can also try and notice when I spontaneously find myself daydreaming and just pay attention to what I'm daydreaming about. There's often clues there. And sometimes insights might just pop into my head at strange moments. Unfortunately for me, it often happens when I'm in the shower and have nothing to write on, which can be very inconvenient. But I also know that these spontaneous insights come when I'm out walking in nature. So at least I can be prepared to capture them. So what about you? Why not take 5 minutes now to imagine what would be happening in your life if you could wave a magic wand? Describe this in as much detail as you can. And my suggestion is to set a timer somewhere where you won't be disturbed for 5 minutes, and then either write a stream of consciousness answering this question, or if you prefer to walk and talk, take your phone and record yourself for 5 minutes answering this question. And then once you've done that, take some time to review what's emerged. What does this tell you about your UCW? And which parts of this could you start to bring into reality now? And when you're ready, I'll see you in the next episode.